English is not my first language, so please excuse any word phrasing. This happened a few years ago, and I don't remember all the details clearly. When I was about 20, I worked as sort of a caretaker for an autistic person whose name was Sam, who at the time was in his late teens. We'd meet for a few hours once a week and go to playgrounds, go hiking, or generally just hang out. One time we were at the playground, I noticed a man looking at the kids. He didn't seem to be there with any particular kid, which is why I noticed him in the first place. When Sam was done playing at the playground, we headed to the tram to go hiking a bit before I was done at work. The man followed us and I saw him enter the same tram as us, with no kid in tow. Thought it might be happenstance, but found it odd. Didn't think much of it while the tram was driving. When we reached our destination, I noticed him leave at the same time as us, but by another door. Again, could be happenstance, but now I'm very aware of this guy. My gut tells me he's following us. To get to our hiking trail, we have to go through a neighborhood. As we start walking, so does this guy. I get more and more stressed as we're getting closer to the woods. I don't want to leave the safety of the streets while this guy is following us. I tell Sam, I don't want to go hiking today. Let's turn around. Thankfully, he's okay with this. And as we turn, I see the guy go down a side street. He stops about 20 meters down the side street and just stands there, looking innocently in the other direction as we pass him. When we walked by him, and a bit down the road, he starts walking again, still following us. Now I know for sure he's following us. I'm freaking out, yet still trying to keep calm so as not to aggravate Sam. We stop by another playground for a bit, but as I have promised him, we'll go to the dam at the end of the hiking trail. We don't stay there for long though. Luckily, there's another way to get to the dam, just walking by the road. However, there's a walking tunnel going under the tram line where we'd be out of view for a moment. I want to run through the tunnel, but Sam refuses, so we walk together. We get out the other side before the guy following us enters the tunnel. When we get to the dam, I take notes on my phone, describing the guy following us, intending to go to the police with it the next day. I let Sam throw rocks into the waters for a while until he gets thirsty and we decide to walk to the store. The store is close to a bus stop too, so we'll catch the bus to get him home after we get him something to drink. I don't remember much of the walk to the store. I assume we went through the tunnel again, but I can't be sure. There's yet another way of getting back to the tram stop, and from there back to the road, and if memory serves me correctly, we'd have to pass the guy to get back up to the road again. I don't remember much from the store either, but I think the guy didn't come into the store. He just waited for us outside. When we were done at the store, it's about time to get Sam home, so we head to the bus stop. This guy decides to stand next to me while we're waiting for the bus, and I'm calmly freaking out again. I can't show this guy where Sam lives. What do I do? At the same time, I realize all of my descriptions of him are based on his clothes, and my phone has a camera. I open the notes app and sneak a photo of the guy to go with the description of him. The photo comes out kinda crap. I open the camera app on my phone and take another picture, and the phone makes a camera sound. The guy apparently realizes I know he's been following us, because he gives a sheepish grin and a sort of half wave of his hand before leaving the bus stop. Just like that, he's walked away. I'm still slightly freaking out, and I make absolutely sure he's not sneaking around the bus stop. He does not get on the same bus as us. I keep looking over my shoulder as we're walking from the bus to Sam's house. Once I hurry him in the house, I tell his mom what happened, and that I don't think Sam knows, but if he has a reaction later on that day, that might be why. I call my mom on my way home, just to have someone to talk to. I tell her what happened and that I'm shaken up by it. Even though I don't think the guy was after me and he'd stopped following us, I still didn't want to take the wooded path to my apartment when I got off of my bus. I went to the police with the pictures the next day and tell them my side of the story. I don't think anything ever came of it, as nothing illegal really happened. I've never seen the guy again, and I hope I never will. When I was around 5, sometime during the holidays, a man yanked me by the collar at the back of my shirt to choke me and then shoved me, all while out of sight of my parents at a very large and packed indoor playground in the mall. There was a little girl who had a very expensive doll that I really coveted. She was properly obnoxious, and the only reason I even played with her is because I got to hold the baby doll. Well, she was fine with that because she just wanted to go around yanking on the big boy shirts like she said she would do to her brother who wasn't even at the mall that day. I sat on the baby jungle gym and rocked the doll until I realized I couldn't see my parents in the crowd in the bleachers anymore. I hopped off to look around for them and spotted my companion right away. It was that moment that I approached her to return her doll. that one of the big boy's fathers yanked me by my collar, slapped me in the back of my head to push me forward after releasing me. This was one of the first times I ever felt the wind knocked out of me. He snarled under his breath at us, asking how we bitches like to be choked. I was physically stunned and actually dropped the doll on the ground. If he was watching so hard, then why did he attack me and not the girl who was trying to swing on kids? I felt targeted because I did not play her game. I was rocking and feeding the doll, the look of rage in his face I will never be able to forget. He gave us a look of unspeakable disgust and then looked up at the preoccupied crowd on the bleachers and angrily power walked away. It was gross, but even worse for me. I had never been called the B word before. I didn't tell my parents about the curse word because I felt I'd get in trouble. I ran and told my parents between sobs after rounding the corner between the baby and the older kid's jungle gyms. Security searched them all, but he had obviously been long gone. I remember my parents acting like it was no big deal because they had 2 infants to watch while I played. Years later, when I asked my mom about it, she went white and said that was one of the scariest moments for her, right after when I almost choked on a grape skin. She said that it was then that even with 3 sets of eyes supposedly on me and dozens of other parents, patrons, and security present, she realized just how easy I could have been scooped up and gone forever at the playground in the mall. A few years ago, when I was still in high school, a few friends and I would always meet at one friend's house to hang out and get high. Her parents were home this particular night, so we decided to walk to a park with a small playground near her house. To get to the playground, we had to cross through a few backyards, and there was a small wooded area we had to walk through as well. The playground was right at the edge of the woods, and then there was a large clearing in front of it that led to the road with some trees on both sides. There were a few houses in the trees. This was a nice dark spot that you could usually hear or see if anyone was coming. So 3 of us walked and another friend drove her car around to the front so we could go get food or whatever afterwards. When we got to the playground, the 4 of us all huddled on a flat area that was about 5 feet in the air to smoke a bowl and just talk. It had just gotten dark out and it was maybe 8 or 9 p.m. on a summer night here in Wisconsin. We hadn't started smoking yet, but we were sitting there for a good 10 minutes. All of a sudden, from the left, we see a flashlight swinging back and forth. One girl was like, "What the fuck?" And she obviously was concerned. I said it was probably just a jogger, and we went back to talking. It was moving really fast all of a sudden. You know how the floors of playgrounds have the holes in them? Well, whoever had the flashlight came underneath and was shining it up at us and stuck their fingers through the hole. It sounded like a female. She said, "Get out of my home." Like I said, we live in Wisconsin. It is a nice town and the rate of homeless people isn't very high, but I figured it was a homeless person or just a crazy person. So we all got up because at this point we were just weirded out. We climbed down from the playground as fast as possible and start running to the car. The lady with the flashlight is screaming at us and I notice that she looks like a normal housewife, but the way she is acting is just insane. So we finally get to the car and this lady kept following us. All of us get in except my one friend who was standing with her door open, and she is screaming back at this lady. Like I said, it was pretty dark. But when my friend who drove turns on the car and the lights came on, we see this fucking huge man standing right on the other side of the door and my friend is yelling at the lady just staring at us. So we all start screaming for her to get in and she didn't listen at first until we moved closer and grabbed her door. She jumped in the car and started sobbing. We drove away and went back to our friend's house. We told her parents about it and they called the cops. Nothing ever happened, of course, but holy fuck. I hope I never meet them again. I have no clue what they wanted, but it scared the hell out of us.